We're back. We are back. It's been quite a while, like 4 weeks, but we're back. My name is Christian, and this is
Collin, corn-fed Walker.
And welcome to the Hoosier Hero Podcast.
He's shooting the technicals. Looky here. Hunter in the corner. Ivy for the win. From the corner. Luke Zeller at midcourt. Looks it off past the bunker.
So, it's been quite a while, everyone. I went on vacation for spring break. Me and my family went to Tennessee. And then when we got back, Collin ended up, we were going to film.
I got the flu, not COVID. It was the flu. I tested. But
so then that ended up taking him out for actually quite a while, didn't it?
Yeah, I still got a cough. Yeah, it was one of the worst flus I've ever had.
Yep.
My girlfriend brought that back from Miami. Probably washed up off the shore somewhere.
Yeah.
Something that we've never seen before.
Okay. From another country.
But I'm still recovering. I still have a cough, and it's been like 2 weeks now. So
yeah. So that my wife's grandfather, so my father-in-law's father, passed away as well. So I had that going on. And now finally, though, on this Wednesday night, it's it's 8:32 my time. That's 9:32 your time. We're doing it late, getting it done for you guys.
we live on the Eastern Central time zone.
Yeah, like
change. Right down the
across
line.
way.
And we did go to a snow cross event too.
Oh, that was
one weekend.
That was probably
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to snowcross with snowmobile, which is snowmobile racing. That was in Grand Rapids, so that was another weekend too. So
We have a lot of excuses, but we care about you guys, so
yes,
we're back.
We do. It's been quite a while. So today we're going to talk about whatever we want, of course, but we are going to for sure talk about what is going to be the demise of college sports, without a doubt, and many people, I would assume the majority of people, at least, unless you're a player or something, you're going to agree with us. I would think. I just don't understand. We're going to be talking about NIL, so name, image, and likeness. College players getting paid to come wherever, play wherever for however much money. It's ridiculous. So we'll talk about that. And then coming back from Tennessee, we come up, what highway? It's not, is it 75? I don't know. It comes out of Cincinnati, interstate out of Cincinnati. It's come up through southeastern Indiana, and then we hopped on a highway, went straight north, and we ended up in Knightstown. Me and my mom, my wife, and my brother and my cousin, we ended up going to the Hoosier gym in Knightstown, where they filmed the movie Hoosiers, the home of the Hickory Huskers, and hung out there for a while. I played a pickup game with some local kids and got really sweaty. But we're going to be talking about all the filming locations and a little bit of like the background of the movie Hoosiers for you guys. I'm going to tell it to you right now. We're just talking. We're looking at Collin's calendar. I get done with school teaching at the end of May 25th, and we're talking about renting the gym to have the podcast in the middle of the home court, rent it for 2 hours or whatever we need to do, and have the podcast there. So, But we're going to be talking about that. So, all right, name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. Now, I'll start it off like this. So you hear about this. Remember, you hear about name, image, likeness probably starting last year.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to strictly talk basketball then. Okay. And you hear about that. I believe it's the Supreme Court that basically is forcing universities to pay, these players.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not really the universities paying players at all. Okay. It's not coming out of my tuition paying for that person to come here because, or we're going to throw his face on a T-shirt. So, like down at Purdue this year, they had Sasha Stefanovic. There was a T-shirt for him. There was a T-shirt for Eric Hunter. David Bell, football player, had a T-shirt as well. But that's not what we're talking about here. It's not making, here you go, here's a check for a couple grand. Use it wisely. Buy some books with it. That's not.
So those T-shirts were sold at the school,
in the bookstore.
For the bookstore.
I don't know.
So then they give them a cut.
Sure. I would imagine. I don't know. I can't tell you. Maybe Sasha Stefanovic can come here on our podcast. That'd be really cool. Tell us all about it. But I know the company is like a Indiana apparel company.
Yeah. That
made them. So I don't know if they hit up the university and Stefanovic and then they
I would think with NIL now that you could have your own booth. Yeah, you could just set up your own thing and you could sell Twinkies if you wanted to.
Right? Twinkies,
signed Twinkies.
Yeah, signed Twinkies.
You can do whatever you want.
So I don't know, but I can tell you there was kind of that aspect, and that I understand. Forever and ever, especially the old college basketball games, you had people on the old college PS2 games that looked like. Name that person, looked like Robbie Hummel or whoever, and it's okay, that's kind of. And then also, I do understand that universities are making money off of these guys' face, whether they're putting them on billboards outside of Lafayette or Bloomington or Notre Dame, and I mean it's anything.
They're increasing their numbers for applicants to go to the school. And
I 100% agree that maybe players should get something. I understand that you're getting probably free school. Or whatever if you're a scholarship player, but
which is a lot of money.
Yeah,
we can't forget how much
school actually costs.
A full ride at Purdue. Is. So there's kind of that aspect. Okay, but what we're talking now that just took place. Okay, Purdue loses Jaden Ivey. Eric Hunter went through a draft process, a kind of a test out, and now he's into the transfer portal. And Eric Hunter Jr. is a shooting guard. He's not even a point guard. He kind of found himself in that role. So Purdue doesn't have a point guard and also Isaiah Thompson from Zionsville, he ended up entering the transfer portal too. So Purdue doesn't have a point guard. They did pick up Mr. Basketball from Westfield. What was that? Braden Smith, I think is his name. He is a point guard, but he's going to be a true freshman point guard. So Purdue doesn't have one. So we're looking at the transfer portal, right? There's a kid out of Lawrence Central that just set NIL history that just really, I mean, I'm not dogging the kid. I mean, if it was probably in our position, we'd definitely do it too. Oh, yeah.
But this kid named Nigel Pack was at Kansas State. Bruce Weber retired at Kansas State. And Ohio State, Purdue, and Miami all had their eye on Nigel Pack in the transfer portal. And I really thought he was coming to Purdue because, from Indianapolis. What the heck? And nope. A lawyer out of Miami that owns, what is it that he called? Life Wallet?
Life Wallet, yeah.
Owns Life Wallet. Decided he was going to give Nigel Pack NIL money to come to the University of Miami, $800,000 2-year. And you know what's so bad is media's it's an $800,000 2-year deal. It just sounds like the NBA. It sounds like the MLB. It sounds like the NFL. A 2-year, $800,000 deal plus a car. And who knows what the car is? I hear, Hellcat? No, seriously, BMW.
Could be a Rolls Royce for all we know. Maybe. Yeah. It's Miami. That's you got to fit in down there. Hellcat. That's trash in Miami.
You got to have a Huracan or something. Good grief. So anyway, Nigel Pack a couple days ago, he's going to Miami. No Purdue, no Ohio State, and I guess I have some kids in my class. I have 2 kids that they're real into college sports, and one kid's a Purdue fan, all this stuff, and it just they don't see a problem they don't see the overall problem that's going to happen. Yeah. And their excuse to me is, well, it's always been going on. Well, yeah, illegally, and I can't imagine near this at this level.
No, yeah, I hope not.
I bet you mommy's getting some money under the table, obviously at different places, and when they do get caught, there is recruiting violations. There is. What is a recruiting violation now? Think about it. What is a recruiting violation now?
It's just the NCAA didn't.
No,
they just let this go. There was no
There was no predetermined rules, really. It just
It
kind of
doesn't sound like it.
It was like let them loose, and there's going to be I think some side effects from this that they, it's just part of.
Unbelievable. And then think about this. This is a couple of things that I've thought about. I mentioned to him earlier. Okay, so you always got your Dukes, you got your North Carolinas, you got even Indiana. Indiana has some huge boosters. I mean, they have a dude that paid out Archie Miller's contract. It was like $10 million or something. They literally went to somebody and is paying out $10 million to get Archie Miller out. Okay, whatever that was 2 years ago, and they Sorry, the dog's barking. I can't focus. This is just, we're in my in-laws' basement. It's a great time. Anyway, so what about schools, like the smaller schools that aren't going to have that type of pull? How are they really going to compete? You really think a kid's now going to go to Valpo? Or, no.
Unless they're on unless they're on ESPN and
it's not
TBS
It's
or
not
something.
happening because who at Valpo, who in Porter County is going to come up with, oh, I'm going to go buy this player, basically? Nobody.
Yeah.
Think about now really how some of these mid-majors are going to struggle. Okay? Their players are really going to go to the highest bidder.
Yep. It's kind of like consolidation of the schools in Indiana. The big ones. The big ones are going to
have all the players.
Yep. It's
just crazy to me. That, and then also think about this: is a player? Let's say the seventh guy coming off the bench. Is he making money off of?
Probably not.
No. And then he's got to sit there and watch his buddy make 800, or his teammate. I don't know if his buddy making. Here's my $800,000. What did you say earlier? Got the Rolex, gold chains,
maybe a Richard Millie. Who knows? These guys are balling out. But that's
pulling up in a Benz.
Locker room turmoil at its best. I mean, these guys are going to be upset with each other. It's
I mean,
that's just one bad.
Think about the guy that's coming up that's calling out your screen. I mean, that's what I think about. You got the guy that's calling out your screen. He's not going to tell you because you're making $800,000 and I'm making nothing.
Yeah,
screw him.
You almost want to. Yeah, they're going to be competing against their own teammates to try to get the. Hey, don't take me out of the game, coach. I gotta.
Right.
I gotta get me at 50 points tonight.
Yeah, I gotta represent Life Wallet.
Nike's watching me. I gotta do it.
Life Wallet.
I'm making more than you, coach.
That's another thing to think about. So I also said this. I was like. And I think this is something that has been kind of going on. Okay, that's not illegal, but like you've got a school that's going to pay a certain amount of salary, and then the coach in a contract can make up to so much more based off marketing. Okay, and I know like Mike Woodson's got a huge deal like that down at IU, stuff like that. It's like when does name, image, and likeness come into a coach too? Like we're going to make money off of. And I know that Painter and Brom and down at Purdue and Woodson and stuff, they're making money off that kind of. But I mean, is that ever going to play a part and things like that with coaching?
Yeah,
it's like that. And who just retired this past week? And he was on Dan Dockich. Okay, I think he was on Dan Dockich yesterday. But Jay Wright retires right when like all this is just really starting to pop out, and because I don't think he wants to play games with it.
Yeah.
At Villanova, like he can say he's burnt out or not. Given 100%, he's only given 80% and things like that. Didn't they just go to the Final Four?
I think so.
Elite Eight for sure.
Elite Eight, yeah.
No, so I don't think, But anyway, regardless, Villanova, it's regardless. And Jay Wright's just a heck of a coach, so it's like, and now all of a sudden he just hangs it up. He probably don't want to play games with this either.
Yeah.
Like, I know I wouldn't as a coach. I mean, what a joke.
Yeah. I mean, before this, what did you prefer to watch more, college basketball or the NBA?
College, 100%.
And why?
Because it's just dudes going out there giving everything they got for...
And it's peer.
Exactly.
You knew that every school had X... If you were D1, you had X amount of scholarship, full rides to offer, and you had partial scholarships to offer. And you knew that it was... At least in my... I felt that it was a fair playing field. You never saw... some teams with just outrageous winning streaks of the national championship every year. Now the game has completely changed. Yeah. It really is like... It's almost worse than the NBA because the NBA has caps, like salary caps, right? Like you can't have one team that gives out $300 million and one team that only has a budget for $100 million.
Yeah.
So, but what they doing now in college basketball, Miami, they got this.
dude
There's a
just
lot
pulls
of
it
rich
out.
people
Yeah.
in Miami, and they're gonna just all these businesses around it that they want their team to win.
Yeah.
They shell out the money, and their team wins.
Jeez.
They can control it. It's
Yep.
it's worse than in the NBA
Yep.
now, and personally that's why I watched college sports is
Yeah.
over NBA. I don't even watch the NBA. I watch college sports
Yep.
because I like to see true competition.
Yep.
If it's not there, then I might as
point.
well go get on NBA 2K and just play against you.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just totally lost the touch for me.
Yeah. I just can't believe it to where and like certain people. I mean, people see it. People are it's gonna really bite the NCAA in the butt the next couple of years. It's gonna be. I mean, where do you even? I don't know.
And what does the NCAA mean? It's a student athlete, right?
Yes.
But if you're making $400K a year, are you showing up to biology?
Yeah, right.
Are you?
No. I'm paying somebody to do my biology.
I'm not showing up.
No.
I'm going to what's that little store at Purdue with the 59-cent pops or whatever.
Oh, the discount den.
The den.
yeah,
I'm
the
getting a
discount
den.
den, yeah.
I'm getting a den pop. I'm going down to Chipotle. I'm going out at some sororities.
in my Benz.
Throw some money around. Wear my gold chain. I mean, I'm not going. You're no longer a student.
No.
You're just a paid athlete.
Yeah.
Trying to get. I mean, I guess we're gonna see a lot more.
Yeah.
Not dropouts, but like you still have to make the grades to play, right?
I would hope, unless you're paying somebody to make the grades for you.
Yeah.
And it's like this. Okay, you're saying that. So are the guys gonna stick around? What if you have a 4-year deal and you get 5 guys to have a 4-year deal and they stick around because they're getting paid $1 million or $900, whatever. I mean, you could give me anything, but I'm just saying, like, even if you gave me $400,000, you give me $100,000 a year, and you gave 5 players that are outstanding, and they stick and they do it, they fulfill their deal. You have a superpower for 4 years that you're going to have to contend with in college basketball. That, like, if it actually were to happen, like, think about some of the teams that were just actually super good, like some of the one Duke team with R.J. Barrett, and then some of the Kentucky teams down there as well with like what was it, Anthony Davis, like that Kentucky team was super good. But think about some of those that had those guys that if they happen to have that good, like the Fab Five. Like think about the Fab Five back with Michigan if they had and they got a 4-year deal. All those dudes, Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, all that. Who would have stopped them? Like if you think about it, like, if they would have, I guess so
It's crazy.
Yeah, I just. Pretty unbelievable. With that being said, I don't know. Can't speak for the guy. I thought he was an amazing player. We both went and saw him. What about Luke Brown? I heard today is going to transfer portal. He's transferring from he never
Ball
played
State.
at Stetson. Went 1 year at Ball State? I think it's been just a year. Yep. And yeah.
Shout
and
out
now
to
he's
the
transferring.
Shout out to the Chug.
So I don't know where he's going. NIL money, I don't know. Maybe Purdue's picking him up for give him some. We need a point guard, so I don't know. That would be that'd be pretty. Am I against NIL money then? I don't know. Probably, but it'd be cool to see him at Purdue though. Anyway, so
Yeah, maybe what's that root beer play? Triple X,
yes.
sponsors Luke Brown.
the Luke Brown burger.
He's gonna be on the front of the
The Luke Brown burger. A Triple X, only in West Lafayette, Indiana.
Yeah,
on the hill.
I actually just thought of a story. If we have time before it cuts off,
Yeah, I think you're good.
I just want to say this because it makes you think about what might be next in college sports. Because I thought this was crazy when I learned about this. I don't know if many people know about this, but I dated this girl that went to Indiana Indiana Public School.
Okay,
Indiana Public University, and she was a student. And she was paid by the football team. She was in a class with another high-profile football player.
Yeah.
And she was paid by the football team to let them know that he showed up to class or not. Unknown to him,
Without him knowing.
Yes.
She would get like secret.
Yeah, she got contacted. I guess the football team looked at the roster students, randomly selected her, emailed her, said, "Hey, would you like to make some money this semester?" I thought it was paid through the school.
Yeah.
And said, "Your job, you seem to be your attendance is out of the roof."
Yeah.
She showed up to every class. Can you tell us when so-and-so shows up to class or not?
No way.
If schools were doing that prior to the NIL,
Yeah.
what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
I mean,
Are
are they just going to hire people to do the coursework for them?
They're going to have a GPS tracker on them?
What's next? Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Well, I understand what you're saying. Okay, you're saying like have coursework done for them if you knew there was a girl.
Yeah.
I was thinking
that
the
already
other way.
seems like kind of shady to me. I don't know. I don't want to say the school's name, but
yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
They're paying, like, whose money is that?
Yeah.
I said,
Make sure the kid
they're
shows
taking
up
the
to class.
like, and then I agree with what Christian said, that I think you should be, if school's selling a jersey with your name on it, you should be able to be compensated for that.
Or like let's say you can buy. I just think of like billboards. It's like Purdue basketball season tickets, blah blah blah, and it had, I can even remember, right, it had Chris Kramer and Robbie Hummel and stuff like Etuan Moore. Were those guys getting paid for that billboard when I go buy season tickets? Well, no. This is different when you're just giving money to play somewhere.
Yeah,
completely different. If Nigel Pack goes to Miami and then they put Nigel Pack on a billboard for the school, not for Life Wallet.
Yeah,
I don't think you should be. Can Mike Woodson represent some attorney in Bloomington on a billboard and get paid by it? That's fine, like some firm. Okay, but the coach, I don't think a player should be representing a business. I shouldn't have my plumbing company with so-and-so with a big wrench on their side up on a bill. That's just what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. All right. So, coming up from Tennessee, I said we came up through like that around Cincinnati. Coming up, I don't know what highway it is. We popped up straight north, went through like a couple little towns, went through Rushville, and ended up in Knightstown, where the Hoosier gym is. I didn't get this there. I had somebody else get me this, but when they were there, or they offered to get it for me. But I got this cool little pullover I'm wearing in honor of us talking about it. Okay, so we ended up at Hoosier Gym, and it was a beautiful day. They had the windows open in the gym, which is, if you've never been there, it is an absolute throwback in time. You haven't been there, have you?
No.
You've been to New Richmond, though. Colin has been to New Richmond, where is the town of Hickory, which is a complete other side of the state.
Yeah.
He has been there.
I've been to the Porter Dome 1.0 and seen very similar scoreboards that were in the Hoosier Gym.
So I'll talk about this a little late in a little bit. But he's referring to my old barn, which we call the Porter Dome. And it was me and my cousin built it. It was like it was actually only, I think it was only 12 feet wide and 24 feet long, but it was 16 foot tall. It had gambrel trusses in it, like a milk barn. Part of it was lofted, part of it was open. On the one side, there was I actually had a hoop up there, like it was 10 foot. And then on the loft where you could look down at the court, which was 12 by 14 or whatever it was. I had my one vintage scoreboard, which is an old Fair Play scoreboard, and like the exact model that is in the movie Hoosiers. And I'll flash a picture of it. So I used to have that hanging. It's in the storage unit right now because we sold that house. And like I'll talk about it a little bit. I am building a new barn on our 4 acres, and it has been a labor of love since like July, August. It has been a complete labor of love. It is like 30 by 50 gambrel milk barn, and it's going to have a massive loft, and I'll talk about it a little bit.
So anyway. I was able to give buckets in that small gym, the small barn.
Yeah.
Just wait until this next one.
Yes. So anyway, we walk into Knightstown, and it is a Knightstown gym, and it is a absolute throwback into time. All right. So when you get there, you're usually great. There's always somebody to greet you there, and if you've never been there, it is again an awesome experience. And when you walk into the lobby, very similar to Lacrosse's gym. This gym you walk straight into. You don't walk up like Lacrosse's gym. It has a
level to the street.
Yeah, it's level with the street.
Yeah, I can see.
And that that previous to that gym being built, I think Knightstown played in a top of like a drugstore that was on the main drag or something, or a store on the main drag in Knightstown, because the hall was big enough above the store.
Yeah.
So they were actually had to play. I think there was like poles in the middle of it though. And then I think it's 1921 this gym was built, and then a lobby was like added in like the 30s or something. I think it's 21. I could be wrong. It might be 29. Regardless, it was in the 20s that this gym was built. There is no steel at all in this building.
Wow.
The trusses are completely wood, and they're big arched trusses, and I bet you like wood stacked together, whatever they are, 2x8s, 2x10s, like stacked to create, and then there's like, braces going up and down in the middle, and then there's, I don't know, I bet you they're like, shoot, man, and they're probably they're true 2x.
I was about to say that is,
they're not 1.5.
It's so old that it's actually 2 inches.
I bet you they're like 5 or 6 of them stacked together, maybe more, stacked together to create each truss that goes across the gym. So they're probably like this wide. That span whatever the length of that is.
That baby's not going anywhere.
No, and then the poles that they're sitting on in the gym, I don't know, it's every 8 foot or whatever. They're literally like, you could tell that they cut down trees and then milled them, because you could still see like parts of the knots where like a branch stuck out. So these poles are like I couldn't even tell. Bigger than 12 by 12 for sure.
Whatever the tree was.
Whatever the tree was. I'll cut it right down there in Knightstown. So yeah. So if you guys ever have a chance, all wooden bleachers, and it is one thing that when I went there when I was a real little kid with my parents before it was this attraction, and I obviously don't remember that, but this time, like, I came back like 6 years ago when it started to become something you could just go there during the day, and I couldn't believe how small it actually was compared to what it looks like on the movie. Mm-hmm. So in the movie, if it looks small to you, then in person it's going to be super small. Yeah. Because it always seemed bigger to me than in the movies than it actually. Once I got there in person, it was like super. The overall building, the court's the same size as a lacrosse, so it's a 74-foot court. Regulations like 84. But yeah, they have so much stuff when you walk in the lobby that's nothing but memorabilia. Like from the movie set, a gentleman told me there that there's this one cabinet, and every so often things get changed out of it, and it's by one guy. He drives across the state from New Richmond, where we went, and he lived right next to where the trailer was for the directors, producers, and actors, things like that. And this guy, they pitched everything after the movie was filmed. Everybody pitched everything out of that trailer. All these, like the scores and the just anything you can think of, like drawings and
the signs that they held up.
Everything. So this guy he'll just randomly show up, and he takes stuff out of this tall cabinet and puts new stuff in that he actually went dumpster diving for back in 1985 or whenever that would have been, because the movie came out November 14th, 1986. And he switches stuff out, which I think that's just, the guy had no idea obviously had an idea of what it was going on, but not probably to the extent that Hoosiers would be as huge as it was when he was dumpster diving. So, yeah. So, anyway, so a couple of different things that I just wanted to talk about is that if you're watching this, I hope you've seen the movie Hoosiers. If you haven't, then my gosh, go watch it. It's like it is my favorite movie of all time. There's without a doubt. Yeah. It is the best. It is the greatest sports movie ever. It's better than Remember the Titans. It's better than you name it. The Blind Side or something. Coach Carter. I don't even understand Coach Carter. No offense. I just don't get it. There's a point in Coach Carter where he's like, you got to do 6,000 some push-ups and run so many miles. And I ended up doing the calculation on that one time because I thought it was just bull crap. The kid would have had to run like 68 miles in 3 days or something. When he was like, do this many laps. I know it's 18 laps around a gym or 19 laps around a gym is a mile. And then he's like, you got to run so many thousand laps. And I did the math, and it was 68 miles or something stupid. You got to run in in a week. It's like not physically possible, and time-wise, it's not possible. Anyway, Sorry about Coach Carter. It's not a good movie to me. Sorry. But Hoosiers, the movie itself, what I'm getting at is the movie itself everything was filmed in the state of Indiana. Not one thing was filmed in Hollywood, not filmed in another state. Not every single scene in that movie filmed in the state of Indiana.
Representing.
Yes. And then all the players that are actually the actors representing the players, they are, well, actually weren't actors. They played basketball. Okay. And like, just for instance, like if you guys have ever seen it, Ollie, he throws the underhand shot to win, would be the regional, the Jasper regional. And he is the smallest and the worst player of them all. And in reality, in high school, he was one of the best players.
Yeah.
Or he was the best player of anybody on the team. And he was like a real big standout in high school. And I think I got to see where he went, but I know they like won their sectional and everything when they were in high school, the team that he played for.
So none of these guys had any acting experience.
No, I don't
and
believe
they did,
so.
They did really well.
Yeah. And I hear that the guy that played Jimmy Chitwood actually was the worst of them all.
Huh.
Actually playing. It was just he was the good looking, like, that's what they said, like charming, like whatever. So that's why he played Jimmy Chitwood, is that he actually wasn't. He was actually the worst of them all, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
The guy that plays Raid, which is the player that gets taken out when coach says my players are on the floor, and there's only when Gene Hackman says that.
Yeah.
Pulls Raid out because Raid was not doing what he was asking. He's a dentist in Warsaw, and he was actually playing at DePaul and Greencastle.
Yep.
And then pulls him, and then they pulled him up. You know, he tried out and all that good stuff. So
which. I have something. I don't know if you knew this. I just learned this.
Yes.
It has to do with the NIL thing we were talking about earlier. So I just want to say it. Shortly after the film's release, 5 of the actors who portrayed the basketball players in the film were suspended by the NCAA for their real life college basketball teams for 3 games.
Really?
Because they determined that they had been paid to play basketball.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
That's
unbelievable. How that wraps together, yeah.
That's unreal.
Wrong.
No way. Jeez,
didn't know that, but I just Wikipedia. I mean, probably I believe it.
I believe that. Yeah,
but
unbelievable. So yeah, and then again, it all being filmed in the state of Indiana. So Hoosier Gym, or the gym itself, is in Knightstown, kind of the east side of the state. New Richmond, which is the town, this is on the west central side of the state, south of Crawfordsville, or not south of Crawfordsville, just right around Crawfordsville. It might be just west of Crawfordsville.
And I've been there.
You've been there. That's where
Christian
we went.
and I went to the diner in town.
Yes, you
got to
did.
hear some cool stories.
And the diner is the barber shop in, I believe, is the barber shop in the movie. So if that makes sense to you all, like there's now a cafe, the Hickory Cafe, which I believe was the barber shop in the movie. Then Shooter's house was in, if you guys remember, Shooter's house in it was in Clayton, Indiana, which is outside in between Rockville and Indianapolis. And then Nineveh, which is south of Indianapolis. South of Indianapolis was where the schoolhouse actually was. So the schoolhouse was in a completely different place than the gym and a completely different place in the town. And then that schoolhouse would end up burning down by arson after they used it for the film. Somebody ended up burning it down a couple of years later, basically. And so there's a post office there now where that's at. That's where Jimmy was hitting the shots when coach went out and rebounded for him, and Jimmy couldn't miss one until coach says, until Gene Hackman says, I don't really care if you play on the team or not, and then throws the ball back to him, and then Jimmy finally misses a shot. I always thought that was kind of a coincidence. I guess that he actually hit them all in a row. It just happened. It just happened. He wasn't actually necessarily trying to make them all in a row, or there was no cuts or anything in that. He literally made all those buckets in the row until Gene Hackman says, I don't care if you play on the team or not, and then doinks it off the back of the rim. So
wow.
Yeah. But yeah, that's if it's an experience, if you guys, like I said, we're gonna try it. We're gonna go there. Hopefully in June, rent it out, and we will. Obviously, you guys will kind of see it in person as well.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's interesting to say when we went to that diner.
Yeah.
We spoke to our waitress,
who was actually
in the film.
She was older. She was older.
Yeah.
Yep.
and she explained to us that
she was the postmaster of New Richmond at the time.
Yeah. And they pretty much recruited folks in New Richmond to be like in the backdrops of the scenes, and I think as fans in the gym too.
Yeah, the people from New Richmond were driving across the state, or go around Indianapolis, then out to Knightstown to be in those scenes as well. So people you see in those scenes didn't necessarily, not all of them lived in Knightstown. They actually lived across the state in New Richmond and followed the caravan, I guess you could say. Another thing is the gym where the fight takes place. Raid punches a dude. Coach says your players are playing like a bunch of gorillas, and there's the big tussle, and Coach and Raid get tossed in the little tiny cracker box gym that Shooter says you need to watch out for. They're the purgatory they call a gym. It has the balconies and everything. That is actually a Catholic elementary school in downtown Indianapolis.
Huh.
Yeah, so that actually wasn't a high school gym. Obviously, there's lots of old high school gyms that are maybe still standing there like that, but that was actually an elementary school gym. The gym for the sectional, the Deer Lake sectional gym was actually the old Brownsburg gym. That's been torn down. And then the gym where Ollie makes the underhand shot, that is Lebanon's old gym, the Memorial Gym in Lebanon, and that's where Rick Mount played high school basketball. Was in that gym.
Rick Mount.
The Rocket. Greatest shooter of all time.
Yep.
So it's all kind of weird how it just kind of plays together. So
yeah.
And it's so weird to me too that and maybe you guys never heard of this or anything, but where we went to New Richmond, where the town is that's like Montgomery County, which is Crawfordsville, and that is where basketball came to Indiana first, from Dr. Naismith to the Crawfordsville YMCA, and it's known as the cradle of basketball right there, like Crawfordsville, and then you had Wingate. It's a little town Wingate and New Richmond, I believe, consolidated together to create another school, which then went to another school. I'm not going to get into that. But Wingate won the state championship. It's like this whole this little tiny town, and they won the state championship in 1913 and 1914 back to back. So and they had that's just so so weird. And they didn't have a gym. And I was told that they were called the Gymless Wonders. But I don't know if that's really true, because I know that they were also called the Spartans. And then they end up taking in the town, it was like a grain barn that the town used, and turned that into the gym. It's still there. It's obviously like 100 years old. It was for sale years ago, last time I was down there, which was years ago. You could have bought it. It had a realty sign right next to it.
Is that shorter than Lacrosse's gym?
I never got to go in it. I would love to go in it. I don't know what it looks like. I'm sure it's just storage, but it literally it doesn't even look like my barn. It's got it's like this.
Yeah.
And then it's got the overhang like my father-in-law's right out here. It has overhangs on both sides, and it's all enclosed.
That's old school.
Yeah, so. But I think it was so weird how New Richmond happened to be right in the center of the cradle of basketball, Indiana basketball, which is where basketball first started. So you could have picked anywhere in our state, but it just happened to, at least part of the film, actually a bunch of the film was filmed there. The bridge, do you remember in the very, very opening scene, Coach it's all the scenes of him driving, and there's a scene where he goes over the super old school iron bridge.
Yeah.
That is right there.
That's in New Richmond.
It's right in Crawford. Yeah, that area right there.
Yeah.
And it's now torn down. It's just like a regular old concrete overpass.
There's still the gas station. What was the gas station, right?
Terre-Haute?
Yeah.
So that Terre-Haute, that's in between Crawfordsville and Indianapolis. So kind of more central, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like West Central Indiana, I guess. But yeah, the grain elevator in the background isn't there anymore. We drove past it when we took my grandpa's truck to the state finals that one year.
Oh boy.
Wasn't that crazy time?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Stop signs.
Stop signs are
a hell of a thing.
Let's just say my grandpa let me take his truck to the state finals in 2000. You had graduated. It was 2015. You came down from Olivet.
Yeah.
We watched Bar Reef put the whooping on Marquette. Oh, that was anyway, not going to go into that. And on the way down, we are on some random highway in the middle of nowhere, right down by Sheridan, and there is a stop sign.
Cruising at 65, and I say, Christian.
Are you gonna stop?
We're at
I mean, it was so random.
200 yards. Christian. 150 yards. Christian. Are you gonna stop? Just locks up the brakes. Man,
yeah.
I was.
He was gonna, and it. I mean, it was smoking. It was. I locked him up. It was the most random. There was no blinking light. There was no nothing. It was a 4-way stop in the middle of a, like, legit highway. Obviously, there was no one else around. But
we would have lived. We would have lived if you had just went through. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a
I ended up
semi.
sliding through the.
Did we slide all the way through?
We went all the way through it. I was like, we
lived.
Yeah, so that was good times. My grandpa now knows. My grandpa watches this, so he will now know that I locked up the brakes on his truck. Whatever that was, 7-8 years ago, whatever that was.
Yeah.
So
hey, if you're driving through Indiana, I highly recommend get off the highway.
You can find it
go
all
to New Richmond.
Yeah, you can find it all online. Where to go to see the filming spots. Someday, I think we should do that.
It's worth it. Yeah,
I think we should do it.
Go to that diner. They have photos inside the diner. Yeah. I mean, everyone in New Richmond is proud of the movie Hoosiers. I think it even says when you pull in. This is Hoosiers, the filming.
It looks just like this.
Yeah,
like it looks just like there's a sign that looks just like this, and it's like "Welcome to New Richmond."
That's their claim to fame.
Yep, where Hoosiers, filmed 1986. Yeah. So.
Take you 20 more minutes where you're going, and it's worth it.
So, yeah, for sure, guys.
And you don't have to worry about traffic jams out there, unless there's some cattle crossing.
Well, I was about to say, unless you get behind a combine. Or something.
Yeah.
So, and then this will be the last thing to talk about. I started talking about a barn, and just kind of earlier flowed into that, but I'll post a couple pictures. It is a labor of love, but. On our right, on the other side of this house that I'm in right now, me and my wife have 4 acres, and I've been putting up a pole barn now since I think I got real serious end of July, and it has been a labor of love because I didn't hire anybody to do it, and it's just me and my cousin helps me, and it is gonna be.
Hey, I put up a couple panels on the wall. Come on, give me some credit.
He'll be there to shoot buckets in it. That's what he'll do. That's his job. He was the foreman and supervisor. He just come and looked at it and this is good. Pulling up in his pickup.
That's below my pay grade, man.
Yeah, okay. So I've been building it, and it is 30 by 50, and it is like an old school style milk barn. I got an 18-foot ceiling in it, which part of it, or not part of it, 3/4 of it is going to be lofted, so it's going to add another whatever that is, 1,000 square feet or more to it. So, and then the last 16 feet back, and then it's 30 feet wide, so it'd be 16 by 30. I've got a way to make it a court. And then the hopes is that at some point in time this summer, maybe we'll end up moving the podcast up there, kind of get rid of this backdrop, and then we'll have an actual Indiana, a red and white barn as
there we go. That was my question.
As our podcast.
Will we see the podcast
in the Porter Dome 2.0
in the barn?
In the barn.
Maybe the backdrop is the hoop down. We're in the loft, and it's down behind us.
Yep.
Something. I throw a little behind the back. Swish.
Coffin corner Collin.
Yeah. Got to be more authentic.
Yes. Yeah. So, that being said, and then we were actually going to have a special guest the week that Collin got sick, and he was ready to get on the South Shore train from downtown Chicago. Woo! But then he couldn't make it. Collin got sick. So hopefully at some point we can get that guest on as well. I got the mics. I got everything set up, ready to go. So
I'll give you guys a hint. He's not a Hoosier.
He's not a Hoosier.
He's not from here. So
he can hoop though.
Yeah, we might have to blur him out if he gets crazy.
The beepy noise.
Beep. Yeah. So,
all right,
should be good.
Yep. Call this one a wrap, guys. Until next time. Oh, see you later.